Alright guys, welcome to Words with Noodle, episode 13. Alright, I think I got that right this time. You know, I'm kind of looking like Survivor Man over here. But I haven't come to this spot in quite a while, and I also haven't really made a video in quite some time. There's been a lot going on. A lot of things have happened. A lot of good things, actually. A lot of good things. But yeah, there's been reasons why I haven't made a video. I just wanted a lot more to happen first, so I can have more to share with everybody, whoever watches this. So maybe I should start off by saying, through a recent friend that I made, I found something called the JCK Foundation. I'm going to join it for people who have mental struggles, not necessarily mental illnesses. You may not need to have a mental illness. Maybe you just have mental struggles in general, you know. Yeah, so it's something that I wanted to join because with all the great things that happen in my life, each and every year I get new great things that happen to me. It's something that, there's one thing that's still ever present in my life, and that's the loneliness factor. And, the loneliness factor, it is painful, and the loneliness factor does contribute to a lot of the anxiety that I face in my daily life. It really does, and it does make my obsessive compulsive disorder worse as well. I never really addressed my anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder in any of these videos that I've made so far, but it is no secret that I live with them. It is no secret to people who know me and who work with me that I have obsessive compulsive disorder. Doesn't affect me so much on my school jobs, because the school jobs don't require tasks that really affect that are affected by my OCD, thankfully. More so at my store job, in which I am now a shift leader, and I'm very proud to be one. Also a service desk clerk as well, which I'm going to in just a few minutes. So not all of this may come out in one video. I may have to complete this video another time, because I cut the time kind of close, because where I was trying to go film this before, it was kind of crowded. So I said, you know what, let's go back to our local little fortress of solitude, so to speak, that we have. That I haven't visited in a while. This is something in Dobbs Ferry, and a little bit off the Croton Aqueduct Trail. I have to run down a hill, and then run my way back up the hill in that Lento fashion. Yeah, so I definitely want to see what the JCK Foundation has to offer, and maybe finding people that relate to me and the struggles that I face in my everyday life, and maybe it'll help me cope with the loneliness factor, and help me discover other ways I can cope with the loneliness factor that I can share with you guys here who watch these videos, So, but overall, things have been going really well. I'm a teaching assistant at Ardsley High School, which is awesome. Finally got out of the school that I was in before that, which I wasn't doing well at. It was a rough place to work, and then I got promoted to a shift leader at Stop and Shop, which is awesome. I have a great stable income, all of that's great. All of that is improved, But alright, so that's what I want to get into with this video. Talk a little bit about dealing with OCD, talk a little bit about anxiety issues, and yeah. So that's probably going to be when I'm going to have to probably pause this and come back and film the rest of it. Yeah. Also want to work on condensing my videos a little, not making them too long, just getting out everything that needs to be said in a more concise way. But I'm already feeling a little better just by having started making this video. I gotta run back up this hill, make it to work, so I'm gonna probably come back to the same spot in a day or two or so and try to finish this up. And yeah. Alright guys, so here we are, almost in the exact same spot, taking off my little Survivor Man backpack here, put it on the ground. So yeah, I have a little more time to work with now in order to continue doing this episode. So I ended off last time, I think I was saying I was going to talk about OCD, anxiety, and then how I joined JCK Foundation. I also did join NAMI Westchester as well. I probably won't have as much time for that one, but just new things that I want to try to do with my life as an outlet to help me cope with loneliness. What do you call it? Give me a second. Oh, right. So, over the past 8 years of me making these episodes on and off with very long intervals in between. Let me make sure it's still recording. Okay, still got battery. Good. Yeah, long intervals between episodes. So with these episodes I've made, I've talked about events of my life and different ways that we can tap into our minds in order to learn more about ourselves and learn more about mistakes we make and how we can do better and not repeat the mistakes that we make. Different ways of tapping into ourselves. I want to dig a little deeper now and talk about just stuff that I personally deal with internally, right? I think that would be a good thing, something that will help me cope, something that can give other people something to relate to, and maybe I can find other people I can talk to about it to help relate to, help us all, feel better about it in the ever-going progression that we make in our fight against these things that we struggle with. So, I have dealt with anxiety for a long time. I was pretty much born with it. My parents did a wonderful job of raising me, but I was just born with anxiety, born with it. And same thing with the obsessive compulsive disorder. Pretty sure I was born with that. Now, those have always been there. So, something that's made my anxiety worse has been mistakes that I've made, right? Anxiety over having made mistakes and feeling like I'm still behind in my life because of it. So mistakes like picking the wrong people over the right people, the wrong connections over the right connections, and also neglecting my friends whenever I would be in a relationship, Those are mistakes that I made when I was younger that I still feel like I'm paying for today, because I've dealt with loneliness for a long time. There are a lot of connections I could have had that I lost due to me being blinded by other things that weren't best for me, or picking a partner that wasn't an ideal match for me, something like that, and facing that has made the anxiety that I was already born with. It has turned that anxiety into something even worse. It has made it even worse, right? And it is true. That is something that I'm willing to be open about, I've always really been willing to be open about that, but now I'm here being more public about it, So that definitely contributes to that. What helps me deal with anxiety? Well, accomplishments. Always aiming to do better in my life, and always aiming to do better in my interactions with others, and being a better person every day, and learning how to just be a more, more altruistic person, more of an altruistic giving person all the time, and being considerate of other people's thoughts, and doing more for others, and just getting farther in my life too. Like me becoming a teaching assistant and getting promoted at the store that I work at, and wanting to take more classes when I start graduate school, maybe even taking some classes to upgrade my current teaching assistant certification to a level 3, whereas right now it's at a level 1. All these things definitely help. But what's the thing that's always what's the thing that is still going to be there despite all of that? The loneliness factor, right? So let's switch gears for a bit about the loneliness. So right along there with the anxiety is the loneliness. I've felt pretty lonely for a long time now, and let me just look at the camera again. We still good? Battery good? Is the battery good? I hope it's still recording. Alright, let's see how much longer this will go for. So, the loneliness factor. That's been, I think, for a while now. And I feel like an outlet I can use to help me cope with loneliness is to reach out to others who face mental struggles as well, right? And so with that, let me think. Oh, right. So the loneliness, it's not that I don't have friends that I don't see regularly. I do. But this one big gap of mine, I don't want to call myself a hopeless romantic, and I don't want to call myself that, but possible maybe. But that one part of my life that I just wish to fill, that I worry won't be filled ever, that definitely is something that makes me feel very lonely. Not having somebody to talk to on a daily basis, somebody to share your life with, it is something that definitely contributes a lot to my loneliness, and I can't really be embarrassed about admitting that. I can't be embarrassed about admitting that, But I must seek other outlets to help me deal with loneliness, Going on walks is great, But there is a lot of solidarity in my life. I have more than enough of it as it is, so I want to be able to interact with others and help fill in that gap of loneliness that's always just weighing me down in life, keeping me from being at my prime, I don't place a lot of value on the fact that I work a great job, all these material things. I don't place humongous value on those things. Those are material things, and I always keep that in mind. So I aim for those more special components of life, as I always have. I really have. Yeah, so, it's possible that I'll get more to this in another episode. I just kind of wanted to pour out some of these thoughts here in an episode as I begin to talk about these things. Why don't we switch gears for a bit to OCD? So, examples of OCD I've dealt with. As a child, I would have to touch 1,000,001 different things in the same order right before I would run upstairs to go to bed. I would touch those 1,000,001 things in that same order, and then I would touch them again and again and again in that same order until I felt like I touched them enough times in that order before running up the stairs. And I'd really run up those stairs so that I could just pry myself away from touching that sequence of things again before I run up the stairs. So, that's one example of something. And I laugh because, it helps me. It helps me to laugh at myself a little sometimes. It just helps me cope. So what else? Let me see. So things that have affected me with my OCD as an adult. Okay, I've worked in pharmacy before. I'd have to count the pills a certain way. I'd count them twice, 3 times over. Even though the only time we're required to count pills twice is when they're Schedule 2 medications. But I would be doing it with, just regular Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5 medications, just counting them twice, 3 times, and it had to be in a certain way. Otherwise, I would think that I saw it the wrong way. Like, wait, did I just count that one, or did I not count that one? Yeah, you can imagine that was a lot to deal with too. But I still succeeded at the job, thankfully. So I am thankful to say that my OCD is not as bad as some other people's, and I'm thankful for that, and I do really feel for those who have worse cases of it than I do. I really do. Just know that I really do feel for you guys. Currently at my new role at Stop and Shop, so what I do is I count money at night. I have to recycle money. I have to recycle registers to make them ready for the next morning, making sure there's a certain amount of money in each register before the morning. But that involves counting them before I do so I'd have to count the money a certain way. When the new money recycles back out, and I'm counting it out, and I want to make sure that there isn't a different bill mixed in with a certain pile of bills where it shouldn't be. So I'm counting each one, or I'm just looking at each one, and I'm thinking that I missed one when I didn't. I have to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and okay, another example at my new role at Stop and Shop, putting returns away. Let me see, how are we doing on battery? It says still recording. Okay, I really should have charged this thing. Alright, so putting returns away is a nightmare. I always ask one of my cashiers to put returns away for me. because it has to be in the right spot, and you know, I'm so bad at like just feeling okay with it being within the right ballpark of the right place. I want it to be in the exact spot, you know. Um, and and if I feel like it's too close to another item, I'm like, well, what if that person's going to be allergic to this item if it's touching it? So I put it a certain distance away from that item, you know. Alright, so I figured that would happen. It was going to cut out. Thankfully, I took my digital camera with me. What kind of camera is it? It's a Samsung digital camera, because I knew the video camera was going to run out of battery. I always make the mistake of not charging it after I use it, because I don't use it enough and whatever. Yeah. Okay, so we're here now. We're back. So, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, returns. Yeah. So, yeah, somebody being allergic to the item, so I always worry that I gotta move it a certain distance away when I put the return away, and like, or yeah, so you can imagine there are a lot of things that go on. A lot of things that go on when I try to put returns away. So I always have one of my cashiers that I'm supervising put it away for me. But the fact that I made it to shift supervisor in itself, this summer, like, it was a lot for me to get trained in that, because when I do something new, I get anxiety, and I get a real anxiety. Yeah. So, and being trained for service desk was anxiety too, because when the service desk is messy, you can imagine how much of a nightmare that is for someone with OCD. So, it's like, I'm walking into the beginning of my shift to a very messy service desk, and it's like, I gotta do this and that and the other thing. You know, a Western Union money transfer here and a lottery thing there, sometimes like both at the same time, while papers are scattered everywhere. Like, yeah, so when I think of more things, I'll share them. You know, this will probably come out in more than one episode, and you know, hopefully maybe when I get interviewed by John with JCK, maybe by then I'll have thought of some more stuff. So let's switch back a little bit to anxiety, right? You know, I'm pretty good at jumping around, aren't I? You know, so what's another thing that helps me deal with anxiety? Not just accomplishments, but appreciating every little thing. Every little thing. And I really mean that, appreciating every little thing. You know, I've always been someone that's really appreciated every little thing. Even in my worst of times, I'm someone that just really appreciates the smaller joys in life. It's not about luxuries. It's not about ostentatiousness, all those fancy words. It's not about that, you know. It's not about lavishness. It's about the appreciation of the smaller joys in life, of the most natural things we have in this world, like the very setting that we're here, that I'm in right now, you know, with the creek flowing behind me, you know. Appreciating every little thing really helps you enjoy life more, and helps you deal with any mental struggles you face more. It really does. And I don't bring religion a lot into things, you know. I try to reach out to people in a way that they will understand and be more receptive to. But, you know, God is a huge help in my life, and I run on His strength every single day. I really mean it. So, yeah. Anyway. Hopefully this was a good start to something that I can... Hopefully this was a good start. Okay. Hopefully this was a good start to me talking about mental struggles that I face, getting a little more personal with the finer details behind all these things that I've talked about in these episodes up to this point. You know I've made mistakes, I know I've messed up, you know. All I ask for from others is a chance, you know. I don't hate anybody who doesn't give me a chance, okay? All I ask for is a chance, and I will always give somebody a chance. I will always give someone the chance that I would want someone else to give me. And that's how I live, you know? So I hope this was a good start. Hope this has reached out to a lot of people. Please feel free to reach out to me in a comment, or we'll find a way to private message each other, because I don't think YouTube has a private messaging feature anymore like it used to. So yeah, alright. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to bring more to you soon on all these topics. Take care, have faith.